So that's how I see it. And I want to just bring something about your first topic you mentioned, Anna, about clusters and regions. There's two elements that make it quite hard for us. First one is the size of the country. It's huge.
It's huge.
And the second one is around 70 to 80% of the cities in Brazil, they have less than 30,000 inhabitants. So it's hard to, if you don't work in clusters in a very smart way, you are not going to honor universal healthcare for those cities. So that's two challenges that we have here.
Yeah, but that comes the redesign, right? So how to build platforms to integrate those small regions. Because one of the things we have is every single city has its own hospital, Santa Casa or something, right? So that's something that may not be necessary. It might be necessary a hub where I have to go when I have a problem and how to get there.
With a strong primary care.
Well, what I really like is, I mean, of course Brazil is huge, I can see that, and when I come from the Netherlands, what am I talking about? But there's more countries which are very large and which have a very low density of population. I mean, let's look at Australia and let's look at Canada, which have problems which are very much alike. And what you see is that what these healthcare systems really excel in is, first of all, thinking very rightly, they don't have hospitals in all the smaller cities or the smaller towns. What they do have is very strong, and we don't even call it primary care centers, we call it integrated care centers, because you might have a number of GPs, a number of very specialized nurses, some medical specialists giving consultations. But what they're very strong in as well is on health IT and having remote connections to the main center. So, for example, I'll tell you two examples. One example I saw in Canada is that in the Northern Territories, and I can tell you that's really desolated areas, they have these integrated care centers. Someone comes in and they fear that they might be having a CVA, a stroke. They have their MRI there, they put the person under the MRI, and immediately it connects to the center in Toronto, where the radiologist and the neurologist are sitting, and they do the scan, and they say, okay, this is what's wrong with this patient, these are the interventions, so they guide the interventions, and quite a large part of the patients can be helped there on the place, and if not, they're being flown into the large center. So you need to start thinking about smart solutions there. And the last thing, and in France they have some experience there with small hospitals, doctors not being available because they don't have them. And so you get to a hospital, you think you're safe, but you're not safe because you're in a building, but you're not in a place where they deliver high-level care. So it's better not to have the concept of the hospital, but really have what you have and have the remote there. Another example, and this is, to be honest, this is one of the coolest examples I've seen, is in Australia. They now work with holograms. So the community nurse goes to the patient, she puts on the virtual reality glasses, and she sees all the scores of the patient, and she can change things and she can see what's happening. And it even is this far that the patient puts on the virtual reality brill and the hologram of the doctor is in his room, whereas the doctor is in Sydney or Melbourne or wherever.
I have worn the let's say, glass or helmet, and I saw the heart beating here and the doctor there. It was amazing. I saw that. I wore the...
And I think those are the solutions which are going to be very important for healthcare, which can actually very much help countries like Canada. What it asks, however, is sometimes I say we need to be very careful that we don't see technology in healthcare as tools, games, cool stuff that we need to implement. It needs to be very strategically done. So have your design first, know what the technological possibilities are. So what we do is sessions with clients now where we do the technology radar. So what is possible, what's going to be possible in 2-3 years' time. Yeah. Then look at what's needed and then plug it in from these two sides and then really making it future-proof.
Yeah.
And I like the comparison between tangible and intangible. It's not because you are in a building, perhaps a hospital, that will be safe. It's much more about the intangible. So all the technology applied and the knowledge of the people there or somewhere else.
Yeah.
Really nice comparison between tangible and intangible for the healthcare.
I think a great example there is Mercy Virtual. Mercy Virtual is hospital without patients. And you can say, how can this happen? Because it's a monitor hospital. And for the ICUs, they will have the screens from a number of ICU centers in the surroundings. And they will, of course, the patients will be there with a nurse around, but they will be able to see what's happening and they can then instruct the nurse on what to do. So that means that it really is a solution for the future, because you don't need to have full-fledged hospitals in every place. So that means that quality can become high, you remain accessible, your accessibility remains high, but you also reduce your cost. And let's be clear, with the workforce crisis that we're going to see, we won't even be able to have hospitals in all the smaller cities. So I think but you need design. So the design for your region is very important.
Interesting.
That's good. That's very interesting.
Good.
Thank you.
Well, Anna, thank you very much for being here. It's a pleasure for us. I think we've been learning a lot from you during this couple of days, and not only on these days, as by having you here personally, but with our global connection, you have been helping a lot our local practice. So thank you again, and I hope we can see you very often. And in the near future with much more opportunities here in Brazil and in the region, in the cluster, in the South America region. Thank you again.
Thank you. It's been a privilege. Thank you.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure, and I loved being here. I love Brazil and the very nice Brazilian people, so thank you for that.
Good. Thank you.